With the upcoming release of Minecraft 1.14, we are seeing the Village and Pillage update, which has brought some amazing updates to the game itself, including these amazing reworked villages we are seeing here before us right now. The Plains village in particular, we are going to be taking a look at today. However, before we get to that, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what we have done previously. Previously, we have taken a look at the Taiga village, and we have worked really hard to figure out ways that we can go ahead and defend that village from the nasty pillagers that are now roaming around our world, destroying every village that they walk by and causing problems throughout the entire world. So in that one, we went ahead and turned a Taiga village into an amazing Naruto themed almost village in the trees or hidden leaf village, whatever you want to call it. And we were able to come up with an awesome format for how we can defend the village using the berry bush and a really simple wall that surrounds the village using mostly materials that you can find within the taiga biome itself. And I want to go ahead and bring that over into the plains biome that we are now at today, working with our plains village right here. I want to see if we can go ahead and spin that into something very cool, very defensive, and something that would be an amazing area for our villagers here to live in within this world. Let's go ahead and give our villagers a nice home here, give them someplace that they can easily defend themselves against those nasty pillagers, and see what we can come up with. Using the blocks on my hotbar, I want to go ahead and figure out a way that we can create a palisade wall, or more or less a wooden wall that will surround our village here so that we can more easily defend these guys against the pillager. So what I was thinking for today was we could create some sort of a palisade wall that would just kind of look like a bunch of logs were stacked up here, going all over the place, something that would be able to defend our villagers much more easily than they currently have, which is basically a hill. Pillagers can walk up hills pretty dang easily from my experience messing around with them. So I was thinking we could go ahead and come through here and create up a pretty great space like this. Simply, we're going to be starting out with just bringing all these areas up so they're about 3 or 4 blocks high coming throughout this area. And that'll give us a lot of extra elements. And this thing right here is looking pretty boring. There's a lot of things that we can go ahead and add to this. For example, if we bring the occasional bit, extend them up an extra block or 2 blocks or something like that, and that helps a lot with it, making this palisade wall a little bit more interesting here. Beyond that, we can come in with some spruce logs and make it look like we have a slightly different log in this area to create our tree or our wall here much more interestingly. A lot of this, you could actually, if you really want to get creative with it, plant saplings going all the way around and just AFK in the middle of the village, and you'd actually be able to get a pretty good strong wall going all over this place. But with that, I wanted to go ahead and focus on building up a wall a little bit like this today, and something like that is pretty good for my liking for right now. On top of this guy, we can bring in a few oak fences and extend these guys all the way up the top of this, and maybe we'll just do 1 block on there. Occasionally we want to go ahead and bring these up to being 2 blocks tall, just to add a little bit of variation to the general environment. Maybe right there we can bring you up 2 blocks, and then for example, let's go ahead and bring that one up to 2 blocks. Now it's looking a little bit more defensible and a little bit more like a wall. Palisade walls, for example, however, typically were a lot of logs just thrown up, going along an area to kind of defend it, make it a little bit better. And however, that looks a little bit boring in Minecraft. So what I wanted to do was come along the bottom right here and just add in a bunch of stones, making it look like they tried to use the stones here to actually pile up the area and make it a little bit more defensible and a little bit stronger and sturdier going along this entire area. Because after all, if this thing was just a bunch of logs, they could just kind of come over and push the logs over with their big villager beast. He might be able to get through this stuff pretty easily. Don't worry though, this time we are not making that same mistake that we did last time where we used a majority of leaves, something that a pillager beast can literally just walk right through to get right into the middle of a village as our wall. So we are totally fine here. This is the idea that I wanted to have for the wall here. Moving this over into the time-lapse mode, I wanted to jump in here and just speed things up a little bit so that we could see the whole process of building up this entire wall here, taking it one step at a time. As you can see right now, we are bringing around just the general outline of where the wall is going to be. Originally, I decided to go with 3 different gate entrances, but as the more I thought about this, the more I messed around with the design, the one that we're building up right there right now, I actually ended up taking out to replace it with a tower, which we'll be getting to a little bit later in this build. I felt like that fit the build a little bit more. Having 2 entrances instead of 3 makes it a little bit easier to defend the village, and overall just makes it a little bit easier for things to get around. Might be a little bit harder and take more time to get into the village, seeing as we can only do that from 2 sides out of the 4. But overall, I really think this one worked out here. I do have to say though, I did have a slight texture pack mishap here at this one. So you're going to be seeing the stone slabs in there, that like the smooth stone slabs instead of just the stone slabs, but that is corrected in the actual one with it. We were using the correct block in there, so it's going to look a little weird right here. Overall though, I'm really happy with how this wall is turning out. I think it looks really awesome and really cool from the inside and from the outside. It looks very natural, something that this village could actually exist with, which is exactly what I wanted to go for in here. I didn't really want to overdo anything, making this wall look totally extremely out of place but super cool, like it was just this amazingly giant massive wall that was just surrounding and towering over the village inside of it. I wanted to make sure that this wall in here fit really well with the village build that we have going on, because obviously this is supposed to be something that looks very Minecraft-esque. It might not be super Minecraft-esque with the amount of detail bits that we're throwing in, the amount of variation we're throwing on it, but overall, I think this one does a pretty good job of bringing everything in here together, and overall, I like the end design of this one. But that is pretty much how the wall is going to be looking going throughout. Let's go ahead and tackle the gatehouse. For our gatehouse design, I wanted to keep something, again, very simple and very much in line with the overall Minecraft feel of the villages that we have in here. The one thing I did want to focus in to just add a little bit more color variation and keep this in line with the wall is bringing a lot of these stripped spruce logs in here as more of a base structure. In the end, we are going to be bringing some stone and cobblestone and all that stuff around it to help mix things up a little bit more than what we had previously, to again add in that extra bit of detail, tie everything in here together. But you can see that we are using a lot of oak inside of this build. We're using a lot of oak inside of here, as well as the same gate pattern that we used over in our Spruce Village remake, because everybody seemed to love that one so much. So I figured we'd go ahead and bring that guy back in here. Anyways, for the roof pattern on top of this, so that we could have some covered areas, because I figured it might be a little wet in this region and we'd have guards up around the entire day throughout everything, so they need a little area where they can stand under some cover. But I want to go ahead and bring in the same type of roof design that we're seeing used inside the village to again tie this building back into the village, so that it all makes sense here. We're using a lot of oak trapdoors along the edges, as well as creating a few small murder holes and things like that along the top of this guy, just to give it some extra detail and make sure it fits in here a little bit more with everything going on throughout. I think this one turned in pretty great. I actually did throw a second one in here as well, which I think adds a lot of extra detail and life to this one. With the outside of the village wall complete and now 2 gatehouses added into the area, we really can start to see that this is actually pretty well defended. It gives us a little bit of a problem though. We do have a lot of areas surrounding this place where you can't really see what's on the outside. So next up, I want to go ahead and bring in quite a few guard towers dotted along the outside of these areas, and also just a few overlooking areas where our villagers can jump up onto the walls and be like, you know what, here's some sounds out there. Maybe we should go ahead and check what's going on. Beyond that, I'm thinking the few things that we could do to help defend these villagers, or allow these villagers to last a little bit longer. If there's a Pillager Raid or a Pillager Siege coming along or something. I realize this is one of the only Plains Minecraft villages I've ever seen where there's no fields. There's no crops at all in this place, besides the little ones that are dotted along the side of the structure right here. We got 4 bits of wheat to feed all of these houses. We can fix that up here, so I'm thinking and add in quite a few guard towers dotted along the outside. I'm thinking we can do like one in there, maybe another one right here, one over there, we need one on that corner, and obviously one over on this side. So I'll tell you guys what, let's go ahead and kick this off into yet another time-lapse mode. Now that we have walls, now that we have gatehouses, now that we have everything here to defend our villagers, we need to get some way that we can see everything. As I mentioned previously, we're bringing in some guard towers in here. This one is very much heavily inspired by the Age of Empires 2 just watchtower that's in the very beginning of the game. I really love those ones. I think they're a great idea. So I tried mimicking that a little bit in Minecraft here. We're using just this base central structure that's a 3x3 base, and then bringing that up to the top, expanding it out so we can have some additional standing room, and just putting a very simple slab roof on top of it to make sure that this guy stays in line with everything Minecraft feeling. That's a really big goal that I have in this one, as you guys have probably heard and understood by now, is that the goal is to make everything here feel Minecrafty, feel vanilla Minecraft, because obviously the build style I typically go for a little bit more extreme than that, a little bit more higher detailed, but I want to keep everything in here very much basic. As you can see, we are now throwing in 4 different ones of them throughout the surrounding area, and that's all looking pretty awesome. I really love the end result of these 4 towers, just messing with that village skyline that we have. Now coming into this lower area, I wanted to jump in here and add in just a large wheat field as we had previously talked about. I figured we need to get some food in here. I figured this would be a great way we could detail out the area. It just looked really cool. I felt like it was a big open empty place where we could easily throw something in. And I love me some good wheat fields. Those are one of my favorite detail aspects to add into any Minecraft world. So I figured this was a great space to be able to do that and just add everything else in here throughout the entire place. It really just brings it to life. Thank you all so much for joining me on today's episode. I really hope you guys did enjoy this one. I had so much fun coming through here and transforming this Minecraft Plains village into something really amazing, bringing in the wall throughout here, bringing in all these gatehouse designs, which are looking really sweet, bringing in the watchtowers over there surrounded around this place, as well as adding in a big old wheat field that they could use to feed themselves if they are ever in a time of need. Obviously, in my vision, this whole place out here would be covered in wheat fields as well, but we don't quite have the time to be able to add all those ones in because this thing right here alone took probably about 20-25 minutes to plant because, you know, Minecraft and all that stuff takes forever. But I do hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you guys want to be seeing more along these types of things, give me some ideas for other stuff that we could remake or add on to, or just completely redo within the Minecraft world. I'm currently looking at a lot of things for the 1.14 update, so let me know what you guys would like to be seeing there. Please hit that like button if you did enjoy today's episode. Please hit that subscribe button if you are new, and I will catch you on the flip side.